Alright, this is an episode of We Didn't Know What the Fuck Else to Record. So, we were thinking about talking about stuff that we've created over the years. And failures, successes, you name it. So, we got our food. We got our non-sponsored drink of choice. So, whatever we come up with, this is how it's going to be. And I guess I'll start with the one that I was talking about before we started rolling. And I might have talked about this before, but I don't care. Years ago, a friend of mine and me, we were bored. We were trying to build some sort of crazy contraption to play with. And we wanted a go-kart. We wanted it bad. But we didn't have any shit to build a go-kart. So we were scrounging around the house and around the yard and anything we could find. And we found an old scooter, an old bike, and of all things on this earth, an old kitchen table.
Oh my.
And we had some signposts for like stop signs and shit. So, we thought, this is the perfect set of ingredients to make a go-kart.
Yeah.
So, we took the kitchen table and flipped it upside down and reinforced it with some flimsy-ass pieces of wood. Because I want to make it perfectly clear that we were probably like 9 years old when we did this. But damn it, we wanted a go-kart.
Mm-hmm.
So, we took both of the wheels off of an old bike. And we had L brackets that were about that big. Screwed them to the end of the table. And we put one side of the tire in there, and then one at the other side of the table in there. Okay. Stick with me on this. Then, what we did, we took the back wheel off of the scooter, and we took the rest of the scooter and bolted it to the front of the table to steer this thing.
Oh my god.
So we built a trike. Now the idea behind this was we put the wheel with the cog on it on the left side, so that way it would still work going forward, because we were going to rig up a weed eater engine on this thing. We never got to that part, though. But anyway. So. I can't even believe I'm telling this story. But anyway. We got all this shit bolted on, and we decided to take it for a test ride down the hill in front of my house. Yeah. We got about 6 feet, and then the back wheels did this. And that was the end of that. And we spent all damn day building this thing. And I don't know what we were thinking. I guess we were thinking what any 9-year-old thinks. This is awesome! But it didn't work. So that's my first story. What's one of your brilliant moments?
Oh god. Trying to rack my brain here.
Well, while you're racking, I got another one that's similar to that one. Because we did basically the same thing again. But this time there was no kitchen table involved. We wanted to build a trike out of a bike. Yeah. The same bike and scooter were involved in this creation. This is where the stop sign posts come in. I got my stories a little mixed up, but I think they happened like one right after the other. Anyway, we put the scooter wheel on the front of the bike, in the yoke on the front of the bike. Okay? We're basically building a trike chopper. Or at least that's what we thought we were building. We put the bike wheels on the back of the bike, one on each side of the outside. Mind you, this was going to be the same idea, putting a weed eater engine on this thing to make it go. Again, never happened, never going to happen. But anyway, so, once we did that, we took the stop sign posts and cut them and made a frame out around the wheels to try and hold them upright. Now, for those of you that don't know how a bike frame's built, the back kind of comes out and then back. And whenever you bolt the wheels on the outside, they kind of go inward like this. Like if you're looking at it from the top, they'd go in like this.
Yep.
We didn't know that. So we built a weird amalgamation of shit that went like this down the hill. Because I actually sat my fat ass on that thing and tried to ride it. Didn't get very far, and it didn't steer worth a shit. So we abandoned it back in the woods. And to this day, I do not remember whatever became of it. So that was 2 times that we tried to build a trike, and it didn't work. We were fucked up kids. We were. Man, I didn't know him until high school. This shit all happened long before that.
Yeah.
No. Back then, we were like the mad scientists, you know. Anything we could create, we did. Got one yet?
I think I do.
Alright, let's hear it.
This is probably 10, 15 years ago, maybe. I got this bright idea to see if I could possibly make a fiberglass deck for a lawnmower. So I used the existing shell or the existing deck to try to make a mold for this deck. I coat the entire deck with fiberglass, thinking, okay, I could pry this back off once the fiberglass dries. No. What I should have done was put wax paper or something underneath the fiberglass in order for it to not stick to the deck. Basically, I had a fiberglass enforced mower deck.
You built a cocoon. You built a mower deck cocoon.
Uh-huh.
Now, this story amuses me to no end because my mother used to work in the fiberglass industry for 30 years. And if I would have known you back then, I could have told you that was never going to work.
Yeah.
Because years ago, my parents actually built a fiberglass boat. They actually built a fiberglass canoe. And they sold this thing to, I don't know who, but they actually made a boat out of fiberglass. Right in my Graham and Pap's driveway, as a matter of fact.
What you got?
Yeah, that actually happened. So that's the story about them. But, oh God, I could go on and on with crazy shit that I've built over the years. But, which one do I want to do next? That is the question.
Yeah.
Alright, this one goes back to right around the time that I met this one. We went to a very, at the time, very low budget shitty school. Like, they did not have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the public education system these days, teachers had to provide a lot of their own frills.
Yeah.
And ours were no exception. And at the time, the high school where we went was not air conditioned at all. It is now, wasn't then.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, we were just there, a few years too early. Shit happens.
Yep.
So, I was in I guess it was a geography class or some shit like that. And these girls were given a presentation. And the teacher had one of those fans that stands on the floor, just blows back and forth. Well, you can get them at any fucking dollar store. But anyway. And they were reenacting something and they knocked it the fuck over and broke it. And it was hot as shit in there because it was on the second floor, facing the street, getting all the sun all damn day. So it was hot as hell in there.
Yep.
Next door was the science room. And the science teacher there, which is the same one that was with me for the Leaf Project. If this is any indication of where this story's going. Anyway. His room was even worse, because he had a bunch of exotic plants and shit in there. Plus, he kept iguanas in a cage in the back. Right. I think, what were their names? Like Iggy and Rastus?
I think so.
I think so. Anyway. Not that that's important to this story at all, because it's not. Anyway, he had a big box fan in there that didn't work. Now, me being the Mr. Fix-It Einstein that I am, I got the thought, I'll offer to take these things home with me and fix them. Because I had a couple of old fans at the house that we didn't need anymore. Mm-hmm. They were just extras, you know. The one was easy. The big one that went back and forth, I just put a different fan blade on it. It was a smaller one, but it surprisingly still produced a good amount of air. That was an easy fix. The other one, oh my God. I took the motor out, and I had one of those little table fans, like one of them little 12-inch ones, one of those.
Yeah, oscillating little, yeah.
Okay. I took the blade and the cage off of that, and I used them on the fan that I sacrificed the blade and cage off of for the other one that I fixed. So there I made 2 Frankenstein machines. Then came the third one. And I'm thinking, okay, how do I attach that motor to that fan? So I took the front off of the part where the thing comes off for the motor, where the blade attaches, took that plate off, and I took the 2 struts in the back of the box fan and just held them up there and then clamped it in with that. Tightened it back up, and that's what held that in place. So now I have this big 20-inch box fan bolted to a 12-inch tabletop fan. It gets worse.
Oh, shit.
I left the oscillating part and the base on it. So now, instead of the box sitting on the floor, the base is on the floor with the buttons still attached. It gets worse.
Oh my God.
I drilled a hole in the 20-inch blade that came with it and just bolted it straight to the motor. And I fastened the cage back on the front, and I cut a hole in the cage and put it back on the back. And I removed the knob switch from the top. After I got this whole mess put together, my God, it actually kind of worked. It was a little bit underpowered, but it did blow air. Yes, it did. And it even oscillated. Surprisingly, it still did that with all that weight on it. So I took these things back into school the next day, gave the one to the one teacher, said, here you go. And she was like, oh, it works again, yay. And I took the other one to the other room, in his room, and he's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, I fixed it. Plug it in, try it. He plugged it in, and he's like, oh my God. And he used this thing for a while. And then he came in one morning and forgot it was sitting there, tripped over it, and broke it.
Oh, shit.
And he felt so bad because I put so much time and effort into fixing that thing that he just went and bought another one. But yeah, so that was another one of my brilliant creations. True story. You can't make this shit up.
No.
No. I mean, you think I'm fucked up now. This is all stuff I did years ago.
Yeah.
You got any more?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
A few years back, I tried to concoct this stupid little, what I thought was going to be completely fucking awesome. I made a shit.
Hold on, let me adjust that for you. There we go. Think harder.
Yeah. Lost all train of thought there.
We've just witnessed the wreck of the old 97 right here. While you're trying to remember that, I've got another one.
You fucker.
It's alright. This is giving you time to think. Another thing I did years ago. Getting back to concocting things out of old electronics. My grandmother got me, well, she didn't really get it for me, but she acquired this wooden shoe rack. It was like a display from a store. It was just to hold one shoe on, just display it on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave it to me to just build whatever out of, because she knew I was into building these weird-ass things. And, when I flipped it upside down, to me, it looked like a car.
Mm-hmm.
So, I tried to build a car out of it.
Oh my god.
Now, at first, I just made one just to sit there and look all cutesy. I took 4 lids off of a peanut butter jar and nailed to it for wheels, wrapped electrical tape around it for tires. I put another peanut butter jar on the front to be the motor, and I made a roof out of it out of a Clorox jug for a roof, and then I built a little steering wheel out of wood with another peanut butter jar lid, and I set a little stuffed animal in there, and that was the homemade wooden car that I made. In fact, I'll put a picture of it in this video right now. Okay, that's what it looked like. So, I wasn't satisfied with the fact that it was just a thing that you could look at. I wanted it to actually work.
Mm-hmm.
So, I tore it apart, and I screwed little eyes in up underneath it, grabbed some wooden dowels, and put the wheels back on the end so it would roll.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't enough. I wanted this thing to be powered. I had an old humidifier that I tore apart and took the motor out of it. Mind you, this is a regular plug-into-the-wall motor. It's not a battery-powered one, it's one you plug into the fucking wall. And I rigged it on there so that it was, you know, the motor came out, and I tried to take a rubber band as a belt and put it around this wooden dowel so that the theory was when I plugged this thing in, it would move. Now, I didn't get as far into the thought process as what do I do when it runs out of cord. But anyway, I decided to test it. Like, I didn't work out steering or on and off or anything like that, no. I just said motor, direct drive with a plug on the end, plug into the wall. Okay, just keep that in mind. I was holding this thing up in the air to plug it in and test it just to see if the wheels would turn because I didn't want it to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I held it by the motor. Mind you, this motor was not encased in anything. It was just there, exposed to all the elements for all the world to see. And I decided to plug it in. Yeah. It did make the wheels turn a little bit, but then the rubber band broke. I tore it apart and threw it away. So that was that story. Have you thought up yours yet?
Me and one of my friends, we tried to see if we could figure out how to mount a chainsaw engine on a bike.
Okay. That's my mirror trick to see if we're still recording.
So I had this old chainsaw. Matter of fact, I don't have it in here anymore. I mean, it ran somewhat. And we were going to figure out a way to hook up the centrifugal clutch to the chain down to the bike. Now you figure, okay, chainsaw engine, they should turn roughly about 8 to 9,000 RPMs. Well, we figured out how to mount this thing. Got it mounted up right on the bar, right underneath the seat, where you can reach down and work the throttle.
I wish I could have been around to see this.
Well, we could not figure out how to run a chain down to the drive wheel and also how to make it work. So there we are. We have a chainsaw strapped to a bike with no way for it to work.
And that's further than I got with most of the projects that I've told about thus far. So, that's one step further than I ever got.
So basically we just scrapped that idea. And moved on to something else. Next one, I wanted to try to figure out how to make a I wanted to hook up wiring on my old ride mower that I had. Well, I couldn't figure out how I was going to power all this because the riding mower was old. It was like a 1982 wheel horse A81.
I remember that thing.
With a 36-inch deck. No matter what engine I put on that chassis, I could not get it to charge any of the batteries. So basically I had everything hooked up. Had it working. You know, I ran a wire to the back. I could hook up my trailer. I had trailer lights on my trailer.
I'll vouch for that.
And the lights would work until, you know, the battery would start going dead. Tried 2 stators. I had one engine. It was an 8 horsepower, which is the original engine. And then I acquired an 11 horsepower that needed rebuilt, so I rebuilt it and put it on there. Well, even with that 11 horse, I could not get it to charge. Tried a different flywheel, tried 2 different stators on it, would not charge. Tried rewiring the whole fucking tractor, would not charge. So then I come up with the idea, okay, I have an old alternator out of my dad. My dad had an old Toyota pickup. The spare alternator to come off the truck.
Oh God.
I was going to try to figure out how to hook that alternator up to the lawnmower in order to charge the battery and to run the lights. That idea failed as soon as I tried to hook the alternator up, because then I wound up twisting the nut or the socket off on the inside of the alternator, so I had to throw that alternator out, and I just scrapped the whole idea, ripped all the wiring out, and said to hell with it.
That sounds like some shit right out of the Red Green show there.
Yeah.
Just needed a little more duct tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. This camera likes to just stop recording at random. That's why I keep doing this mirror trick to make sure we're still rolling. But, yeah. Oh, God. You never told me that one. I'm surprised you never did.
Yeah.
Because you had that wheel horse, you know, for a good while that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I remember the day we finally just said fuck it and tore that thing apart.
Yeah. I mean, I missed that thing, but...
Yeah. Oh, God, the weird machines that we've concocted. So many. So many. I think that's a good stopping point for this one. Because I can't think of anything else right offhand. So, there you go. That's some of our stories of our creations that met very limited success.
Yeah.
So if you like this one, leave a like, subscribe. If you want to hear any more from us, you know, comment, you know, all that good stuff.
Or give us ideas of what we can do.
Yeah, give us, you want to see us build something, give us an idea. You have any sort of things you want us to talk about, let us know. So I think that's it for that one. We're done.
Yep.
All right.
That's
We'll
it.
see you in the next one.